Orleans is known for its saints in black and gold. One woman is on her way to becoming a true New Orleans saint.
We truly believe she is a saint. We're just waiting for the church to actually recognize that she is a saint.
More than 170 years after her death, leaders in the Catholic Church are reviving the legacy of Henriette DeLille in an effort to have her canonized.
WDSU anchor Randy Russo tells us about her road to sainthood and what the honor means for the Crescent City.
The power of determined women. I think that determined women that know they want to do something are going to do it.
And it's the determination of one New Orleans woman and her unwavering devotion to God that's leading her to receiving one of the highest honors in the Catholic Church, sainthood.
It will certainly be something that everyone will be proud of to say we have our very own citizen of New Orleans who has become a saint.
Henriette DeLille is on her way to making history. Not only would she be the first saint born in New Orleans, but she would be the first female native-born African-American saint.
I think that would be big news. That would be like another Super Bowl, I believe. Bigger maybe, you know.
Henriette was born in New Orleans as a free woman of color in the 19th century. Despite resistance, she dedicated her life to serving God and ministering to her community. She also founded the Sisters of the Holy Family, which is still flourishing today.
The practice and the custom during those days was that, you go to the ballroom, you entertain the gentlemen, and then, you become their concubine.
Because she doesn't want to live the life of what other women have had to do to make ends meet or to be able to survive as a free woman of color in New Orleans. So she takes a different path.
That path directed her to teaching slaves, feeding the poor, ministering to children, and housing the elderly.
And then she also saw the needs of the time. She wanted to help her people. She wanted to promote people the good that God could give to them. And also she wanted to uplift the people, to let them see that they could be better, that they could learn more things and do things and uplift themselves.
Now it's the Sisters of the Holy Family who want to uplift Henriette and have her recognized as a model Catholic.
We always like to have people we can imitate, or people that we can look to say, well, if she could do it, I could do it too. So that's why we want saints, and we want them to be recognized.
DeLille's canonization process began some 25 years ago. Of the 4 stages, DeLille is on step 2, venerable. In order for her to move on to the 3rd stage, blessed, a miracle has to be authenticated and accepted. The miracle that's being considered right now by the Catholic Church in the Archdiocese happened after Henriette's death. It's that of a 4-year-old girl who was healed through intercession when her family members prayed through DeLille to save her life. The parents were told that the child had a slim chance of surviving, and if she did, would most likely be brain dead. However, the church says DeLille helped to answer the family's prayers, and now that little girl is not only alive, but graduating college.
Her miracle here is starting the Sisters of the Holy Family and ministering to people that were underprivileged and, did not have the means to help themselves.
One more miracle will be needed after that for DeLille to become a saint.
Well, we truly believe she is a saint. We're just waiting for the church to actually recognize that she is a saint.
The sisters have been compiling records of people whose favors were granted through DeLille. While no one knows how long it will take for the canonization process to be complete, the Sisters of the Holy Family say they will continue to promote the legacy DeLille left behind and introduce Catholics to the power of her work.
They continue that mission of ministering to people that are underserved by our society and that need our help and its determination.
On your side, I'm Randy Russo, WDSU News.
All the research and documents on DeLille's case will be given to the Congregation for the Causes of Saints, who will present the conclusion to the Pope.
And here's something interesting. The researcher in that story actually found out she is related to DeLille while researching DeLille's family history. The two are related through DeLille's French father.
Wow. And this note, the life of Mother Henriette DeLille was made into a Lifetime Network movie back in 2000.
And that's actress and singer Vanessa Williams portraying DeLille in that film that was shot right here in New Orleans.